So let's go. All right. So obviously inspired by Breathless, of course. When you're working with the writers, though, you know screenplay structure very well. But the film itself broke a lot of rules. So what was your process working with the writers where you need to do a movie, but also a movie that's open to breaking the rules?
Yeah, I mean, Godard's Breathless breaks more rules than Nouvelle Vague. I always thought the movie I'm making isn't a Godard film. It's about the making of Breathless. It's about the community surrounding the Nouvelle Vague. But the film itself, I wasn't doing like jump cuts and that worked once. That worked great once in one film for Godard. And his cinematic brain is so unique to himself, you can't really imitate it. So what I was trying to capture was the feel of that era and all that. And, I mean, I haven't seen a lot of films like Nouvelle Vague when I made it. It's really trying to be a film from another era. I'm making a film saying this film was made in 1959. That's how I wanted it to feel. So that's pretty radical in itself. But as far as screenplay structure, there's a certain straightforward quality to it, linear. I'm not jumping back in time or doing anything structurally crazy. It's really more the subject matter.
Now, obviously, the most big character is Godard.
Yeah,
what did you say in Guillermo? Is like he's the one who can play the character.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't get a Godard, you don't have a movie, right? When you do these kind of things. So I actually met quite a few actors who could pass for looking like him, but it was really more the attitude. I call it the unearned like confidence and swagger of a first-time filmmaker. They walk around like a general without an army. Like they have a little thing, and you're like, wait, you haven't done anything. Who the hell are you? And they're like, hey, So I remember that feeling, and so we're trying to capture that. And Godard's head is full of, a lifetime of quotes and ideas about art, all the cinematic ideas. So he quotes a lot. You could argue he's really full of crap. But, and no one knows he's making a masterpiece for sure. There's a one-man cinema revolution going on. And I think the people are with it, but they're still a little skeptical. So.
And our last question is Zoeydeutch playing Gene Seberg. Another challenging part, obviously,
Yeah.
and the only American, if I'm not mistaken, cast member. So what did you see in Zoe? You said, you know what, she can pull this off.
I worked with Zoe a while back, and I remember I was already contemplating this film. And I told her, I was looking at her, I was like, you got Gene Seberg right here. I believe you as Gene Seberg. The hair has to change, everything else, but you're going to play Gene Seberg in this movie I'm going to make someday. And I was so happy to be able to, we've been friends over the years, and we'd occasionally talk about it. I said, yeah, I'm going to get that made. And then finally I called her and said, hey, Zoe, I think I got backing. I think we're going to do it. Better get going on your French and start thinking about the hair, and let's go. But it was exciting, and she's really thrilling in the movie. I just love how hard she worked and what she brought to it. Yeah, I can't imagine anybody else.
When you first read the screenplay, what was your emotional reaction to the script and your character?
Yeah, so the first time I read the script, I just got the audition of 8 hours with Richard Linklater, and I didn't know if I had the part or not. And so I had mixed reaction, and my first was like, finally I can do something great with cinema, because it's been maybe 12 years I was doing a lot of different things in cinema, like every job you can imagine on a set and in production and distribution, I have done. And so reading it, I was really proud to be allowed to maybe do something great, it was not already there. And also I got scared a little bit because I saw like my name, the name of the character Godard on every page. So for a first feature, because I was an extra before, this is my first feature film, and I got the lead part, this was really scary and both exciting at the same time. This was completely nuts.
And what was it like working with Zoeydeutch playing Gene Seberg?
Zoeydeutch is one of the greatest actress nowadays, So, and also like, meeting like a real star and having to fake like you're on the same level is very complicated at the beginning. So my only way was to correct her with her French, and at first I saw her look like, who's this guy? But it was good because it gave us the dynamic that should have been the case back then with Godard and Gene Seberg, because Godard was a nobody and Gene was already kind of a rock star at the time. So it was so great to start that way.
What was the challenge in adapting the script that breaks all the rules?
The challenge was first to make sure that everything he says in the movie, he said it or wrote it. That was my first challenge. Second challenge was to make sure we stayed in the language of 59. That was the toughest thing, because the language has changed so much in 60 years. There are words they didn't use, we now use, or the opposite. So I really had to be very cautious on that. And then capture the humor that he had. And I was guided by the fact that I knew deep inside that he would be so happy that an American director would be doing this movie. It's obvious. He loved that. He loved American films, he loved American auteur, and he would have, it's a match made in heaven, and I'm sure up there he's very happy.